So today I've got these 5 knives that have something big in common. In fact, they have a couple of things in common. Even though they look quite different, you might notice that some of them have a bit of red on them, but they have 2 big things in common. First of all, they are all UK legal. I live in the UK, so I like to carry knives to the UK legal carry, which means it has to not have a locking blade, and the blade cutting edge has to be less than 3 inches. So all of those fit for that. The other thing they have in common is that these are all Heinnie Haynes specials. So Heinnie Haynes are a UK EDC and knife sales company. They're based in Barry in South Wales. And one of the things they're good at doing is having limited runs of special knives made for them. Sometimes it's a knife that may not be UK legal because it's got a lock, and then they've produced a legal version. Sometimes it's because they just want it in their own livery, and they may have added some red, which is their colour, or the H for Heinnie Haynes, or as with these, the red. So these are 5 that I've acquired over the last couple of years, and I just thought I'd go through them and show you some of the details and some of the things that work and some of the things that don't work. I'll try and do it in order that I've bought them. So starting with this is the Lunar Real Steel, the Lunar Light. And I bought this from Heinnie Haynes. I really liked it because of the red colour. I think they're available for just under £30 now. I added the thumb stud to give it one-handed opening because I thought that might be useful. And we can just take a closer look. You can still see the Real Steel logo, and it's D2 carbon steel, which you can probably see here. You can also see the logo of the designer as well. So it's designed by Jakub Wojciechowicz. I think I've said that right. And it's a non-locking 72mm blade, so it's under the 3 inches. Also, it has a quarter stop, which I quite like it, and it's got quite a nice walk and talk. You can see it has some jimping here on the bottom, so you know where your finger's at. It's a great slight drop point blade there, and it's got a sharpening choil as well. So D2 steel, so it's very easy to sharpen to keep a good edge. It's got a really good point on it as well, and the clip is removable. I've left it on, but you can take it off. I think you can change out the liners as well. So these G10, red G10 liners. It's a nice knife. It's got a lanyard hole as well, and it weighs in at 50 grams. So it's nice and light, fits nicely in your pocket, and it's a tip up carry with a fairly deep pocket clip, so you hardly know it's there. So that's the Lunar Real Steel, and in the red Heinnie Haynes leverage. Next, I bought the CRKT Pilar. Now, I actually got this at Sharp Show 2023. It was a nearly new, sort of virtually new in box. And the nice thing about the CRKT Pilar as well is that it's a one-handed opening. Some of these come with locks, but the Heinnie Haynes version doesn't. But what's really good, it's got this finger choil, very similar to a Spyderco. So if you've got your finger in there, it's not going to close on your finger. It's a nice chunky blade as well. So the blade thickness is about 3.8 millimeters. It's a bit more hefty than the Lunar Light. It weighs in at 80 grams. And the designer for this is Jesper Voxnaes. I think I've got that right. So the blade shape is, well, it says Warncliffe, but I would say it's more like a sheep's foot. And it has the red G10 handle as well, and the stainless steel pocket clip. Now that is removable, but you can't change the position, and it's a tip down carry. So for people that don't like a tip down carry, you know, that's the only way to do it. I think the price of this currently, when I make this video, is just under £37, but it's a really nice one to carry in your pocket. It's fairly inoffensive because it's fairly small. It's not too pointy looking, which is often seen as sometimes an issue here in the UK, but a really nice knife to carry. That's the CRKT Pilar. The third one that I got is this. So this is the Boker Cataclyst. And I think this is maybe an example of where sometimes anglicizing a knife doesn't work so well. So I won this in a giveaway from Gadget Gus. It's an interesting knife, but it's not very easy to open, and there's a bit of knack to opening it one-handed, because if you get the US version of this, it's a flipper. And for some reason, Heinnie Haynes took the flipper off. So to open it, you have to push. Let me see if I can do this. And then you can flick it out. So that's for one-handed opening, or for two-handed opening, you can push there and then open. So it's a Boker Cataclyst. The model number is 0279 and the steel is 440 steel. And you can see, as well as being in the red G10, it's also got the H for Heinnie Haynes on it. So it's a drop point and it has a really long nail nick on both sides. The only thing about it is that, first of all, it's difficult to open, but also I don't trust it because it's either got a single or a double detent on this, but it's fairly loose once the detent's broken. It's not a great lockup. Plus, although it's got this jimping on each side, it's quite difficult to choke down on that and to put any pressure. So I'm a little bit bothered about it closing on my fingers. It's got a deep pocket carry clip, which is good, and tip up carry. That's also removable. So, and it weighs in at 77 grams. It's a shame because it's a really nice looking blade. I think it just needs to be on a slightly different knife. Maybe with the flipper, you've got more of an extension here on the jimping, so you've got a bit more to put your thumb against. But I like the knife, I just don't carry it much. I think these cost just under £40 as well. So that's the Boker Cataclyst. Then the next Heinnie Haynes special that I bought is this. It's another one from Real Steel, and this one's called the Windmill. You can see it has a couple of H's on there for Heinnie Haynes. And what I really liked about this is this big, fat sheepsfoot blade. So the steel is 8CR14 MOV. So a nice, fairly basic steel. It's got this nice long blade, still UK legal. It's got a tip up carry. So again, a nice deep pocket carry with pocket clip. You can remove it if you want. There are a couple of torque screws there, but it's tip up carry, and it's a fantastic working knife. Now, it weighs in at 50 grams, which I think is quite good for this all stainless construction, but it does hide a little secret that makes it super useful. Let's open it up. Can you tell what it is? When you get it fully open, and this fooled me to start with, but when you fully open it, the scissors flip out, and they're a decent pair of scissors as well. So if you want something that competes reasonably well with Victorinox, so for having scissors with you, this works well. It's one I've carried a fair bit actually. I like it because of the deep pocket carry. I love the sheepsfoot blade, but having the scissors on it as well makes it more versatile. So that's the Real Steel Windmill, and this is an absolute bargain. It's under £20. I think it's just under £19. And then the last one is my most recent purchase. So I bought this at Sharp Show from the Heinnie Haynes stall. This is an Arthur Wright & Sons sheepsfoot knife with ebony scales on there, and it's got really nice brass pins, and you can see the red G10 liners there, along with the brass liners and nickel bolsters. Now, The only issue with this, which is sometimes an issue with Arthur Wright's, is that it has an insane pull that pretty much destroys your thumbnails in trying to open it. So I would say this is an 11 out of 10 pull. It's absolutely insane. It does have a half stop, which is good, and it's got a good walk and talk, but the trouble is it's difficult to achieve it. You can see the Arthur Wright and Sons England tang stamp there. It didn't come super sharp. I had to sharpen it, but it's got a nice flat blade there with a sharpening choil as well, and this fantastic sheepsfoot blade. So this is one of my favorites. It weighs in at 67 grams, and for something that was completely handmade by Arthur Wright and Sons, but is customized for Heinnie Haynes with these lovely brass and G10 liners, it cost just under £40, which I think is amazing, considering that you'd pay way more than that for a Rosecraft, and they don't have the heritage of this. So fantastic knife, great to add to my collection, and great that Heinnie Haynes are supporting traditional handmade knives. So a quick look at those in order of me buying them. So that's been the most recent, the Arthur Wright and Sons Sheepsfoot, then there's the Windmill, then there's the Boker Cataclyst, then there's the CRKT Pilar, and finally the Lunar Light. So Heinnie Haynes, big thank you to you for supporting the UK knife owners, for bringing some great knives to us. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I just thought I'd call them out for doing some great specials. Hope you like this video. Why not check out this video here or this playlist? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.